Hey y'all, welcome to Thank You for Your Obedience with your girl Sam. I am. I know y'all miss me. I miss y'all too, but let me tell y'all, your girl been going through it. Okay, we still going through it because God not letting up on me. Like, mm. He said, "You want to listen for real, for real? Okay, we finna go. So you finna be dragged a little bit. So yeah, it's been taking me some time to come here, just because I've been dealing with myself and God, cause He been dragging me. Okay." First of all, as always, thank you all so much for your support and your receptiveness because that's really why I'm here. Like something that occurred um, got so much response from you all. You know what I'm saying? Um, to the fact, probably if that didn't occur, I wouldn't have had the response I had to get the response from y'all. So thank y'all. Thank y'all because it's really for y'all. And obedient to God. First and foremost, being obedient to God. As to why I'm here, cause honey, I just want to go get in bed right now. Okay, but we gon' we gonna do what it do. Okay, so today's episode it's gonna be a little deep. Um, I hope to not get emotional, but I probably gonna get a little emotional because it's a little deep. And this episode is called In Tune, clearly hearing God's instruction. And the caveat, of course, because we know we always have a subtitle, is God trust me. And that's why I ran here, because to share with y'all the fact that I know, like, how they be like, I know what I know what I know. I know for a fact, because of this recent circumstances, that God trusts me. And you're probably like, why do you know God trusts you? God trusts me because I could hear him clearly. I can hear his instructions. I've been emptied of all the gunk and trash and the filters and things that block me from hearing God clearly. So now I'm very fine tuned to hear everything he says clearly. And some stuff he be saying, I'll be like, you want me to do what? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't be wanting to do it. But because I do it is how I know he trusts me. And so that's what we're gonna get into. And unfortunately we're gonna have to talk about something that I really don't like talking about. But God not through with me and with it yet. So it's gonna be the topic of discussion until he says stop. So the way that I knew God trusts me, and the way that I knew like I could hear God's instruction, is because God told me to go somewhere. And it was crazy as to how I knew God was telling me to go there. But the fact that I could hear, because of how it was being like rolled out to me, that I was assigned there. Like I was literally sent to go to a specific place. So when I get real into it, I know I went through a very impactful breakup. I want to get away from the perspective and the word traumatic, because even though it was very like hard, it was more so impactful. You know what I'm saying? So I went through that breakup, but before, or no, after that breakup, there would be times that I would get like certain signs and stuff like that. So one thing I can also say in this season is that not only am I fine tuning my hearing, but I'm now like tapping in like real hard to my gifts. And one gift I have, my discernment is very strong. And I use the word discernment because that is a synonym to what a friend of mine actually told me, that I'm clairvoyant. And if you look up the definition of clairvoyant, it just means like you're very sensitive to like the atmosphere and like what's going on, you know? And so at that time, after my breakup, I kept seeing signs and like little occurrences that like he was finna come. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know in what way, shape, or form that he was going to appear because, mind you, we hadn't spoken like in some time. And this is not a bad session, like at all. Like, unfortunately for me and probably him, like, this is just how God is moving. And so, this is all I got, you know? Um, and so, like, I kept seeing, like, he was coming, like, different TV shows, different occurrences, like, just various things that kept showing me, like, get your heart and your mind ready because you're finna be encountered, you know? And it did happen or whatever. So that's why, like, now I'm not as shook or dismissive to when things come about, that I'm like, God, you sure that's what you saying? Or God, you sure that's what it is? Because it already happened before, and I was very clear then. I was just kind of like hoping I wasn't clear, you know what I'm saying? But I was very clear then to know what was going on. So of course I'm very clear, like, now when it happens again. You know what I'm saying? The first time was like a trial run. This time it's like, you heard what I said then, so I know you're gonna hear me now. And so yeah, so it was kind of happening again. So the first instance was like my pastor had to preach at my ex's cousin's church. And I'm like, come on now. Like, I gotta, my position right now is to serve. Like, I'm in very like servitude mode. Like, I'm just serving, especially that my church is a small church and we don't have church every Sunday. So of course, when my pastor is speaking in the city and I'm available, I'm gonna go show up, not only for myself to get the word, but I'm gonna show up to support my pastor. So I went that day or whatever. His parents were there. You know, I spoke to them, but I kind of just like left it alone from there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in the mix. I'm not trying to be here. My pastor just happened to have a speaking engagement. So that was one instance. Then the next instance was I was looking for insurance. Y'all know I just got a car, and I kind of spoke about that in my last episode. But I was looking for insurance, and like the day before, I had been through like 10 different insurance companies or whatever. And so I know the insurance process. So I go to the next day, get a quote, and my ex's name is all over this quote. Mind you, the last 10 big name companies, his name was not on this like quote at all. So the cheapest and the one I actually went with had his name all over. And that insurance company was actually called Go. Like, Go Auto. Like, Go. And I'm like, God, what you doing? Like, because I don't like it already. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like it. Um, from there, like right after that, Jada Pinkett Smith had just dropped her book. And I actually was on her page looking at like to see if this podcast had dropped. And I come across the fact that she's doing a book tour. So they had a list of the dates, and I'm like, let me go look at the dates, see if Houston on there. Houston was on there. That's how I got a book. Like, Houston was on there. But do y'all know where this event took place? This event took place at the same place that my ex sings at. Like the same church that my ex sings at. And I'm like, Lord, of all places y'all could have had this event, because mind you, the place that my ex sing at, like, it's not nothing just popping. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a church for one. But it's not like it's a Houston staple church. I would say that. Like, it's a Houston firm church. But when you start thinking about Houston, like when you talk about like Houston churches that people go to, like, you don't hear this church like come up a lot. It's an old church, but it's like it's not a church that people just be like, yeah, I go there. So for this place to be there, I'm like, okay, what's going on? God, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? And so I didn't know why he was trying to get me to go there then. But what I took from it was like, this is your trial run to like get your walk through, get your heart and mind together. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna send you here. When I say send me there, he was like basically gonna give me the visit. Now mind you, back in at this time, this is October. This is October. So by this time, back in August, I met a young lady. older lady, but you know how to respect, call her young lady. I meet a young lady, and we're at my friend's grand opening. I think I talk about this a little bit, but we're at my friend's grand opening, and we're at this large table, and there's no, when I get there, there's like no empty seats. There's one empty seat by this lady, and this lady is like, you know, this seat for you. So we sit down, and I never met her before, but she had looked at me, and she's like, I know you from somewhere. And I'm like, I've been getting that a lot lately. Like, I don't get it, but I've been getting that a lot lately. And I was like, ma'am, you don't know me from nowhere. I ain't never met you before. Like, just relax. Okay. And normally when people try to figure out like where they know you from, they say stuff like, who your mama? What side of town you from? Who your daddy? What school you went to? She didn't say that. She said, what church you go to? And I was like, I go to a new church. It's called We Church. You know, shout out to We Church. And I was like, what church you go to? She told me the name of her church. And I was just like, the name of her church was the church that my ex sings at. So God had already been putting it in the cards. And at that time, I was like, no, I can't go. Because I was literally after a situation. So I was like, no, I can't go. Like, I cannot go. Like, I can't step in there. Like, I'm not trying to be intrusive. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to cause no problems. Like, no. And so she was just very adamant about getting me to go. She didn't even know like who my ex was. Like, so she wasn't like one of those people. Whatever. And so that was August. So fast forward, you know, I'm here. And that's why I'm like, he's like, I'm preparing my heart and mind because I'm gonna send you there. And I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing, when you surrender your life to God, you don't know how he gonna use you. You do not know. Okay. So I do that. We have a church event. It's our church anniversary event. And so we have been fasting that week or whatever before the event. The event happens. It was wonderful. I'm going to do a video about that. Just, you know, I had to get this out of my system first. So we do that, and so I get a call from the lady. Mind you, like, I invited her. We never had a conversation like outside that one time, and when I did invite her, I sent it via text. Like, I ain't call her. Like, we don't have conversations. So for her to call me, kind of like caught me off guard or whatever. So she calls me, and you know, she's basically very apologetic because she couldn't make the event and this, that, and the third. And I don't know why, like, made me emotional that she went like out of her way, just like let me know, like, I'm so sorry I couldn't make it. Like, it's fine, lady. Thank you, but it's fine. So we talk or whatever, and she's like, you know, I just want to fellowship with you. She was like, so whenever you're ready to come to the church, like, just come. And I'm like, no, ma'am, I can't go. You know what I'm saying? And so she just made it a point to just be like, Sam, it's not about you. It's not about him. It's like about your relationship with God. It's not about the building. Like, God just wants you in there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, I hear you. I'll let you know or whatever. And I took that, and that really sat on my spirit for some time because of the simple fact, like, it's one thing for somebody to know me, to invite me someplace. You know, it's one thing for, you know, yeah, it's just one thing for somebody to know me. Just like, this lady did not know me. And so she invited me back in August. 3-4 months later, invited me back again. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to take that and be disobedient. We all about obedience here, especially with God. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to take that as being disobedient. So I had reached out to a few people, you know, asking about it. And a lot of them were saying like, no, you know what I'm saying? Not to get me to be disobedient, but they were looking out for my best interest because they knew I was going to be uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable. Okay. So fast forward, I was uncomfortable. So something just told me to call my pastor, right? Call my pastor about it. And I don't like to like overextend my welcome, you know, with him, or like, you know, me and my pastor close, but I don't just be hitting him up all the time just because like, hey, I need help. Like, no, I don't be doing that. So I already know he a busy man, and he just take on so much of everybody else's world. Like, I ain't want to add mine to it. But something about this, because he was already counseling me like through the healing process, I was like, let me check in with him and see what he said. So I asked him about it or whatever. We talk about it. And he goes, he tells me no. Like, he was like, don't go, for XYZ reason. Because it's not really you that it's targeting. It's more so like God is using you to get to him. Like, God's doing something with him. And so he was just like, I don't want you to get caught up in that. And as we're talking about it, and I'm telling him about, the people inviting me and me going to Jada's thing and how God is continually pushing me here. I don't want to be obedient. I don't want to be disobedient. He stops and he was like, oh, snap. Just talking about with you right now, I forgot I'm actually speaking there next week. What? Like, how you forget that, for one? We all past the week, I talk about that. But it's like, how you forget that? But at the same time, it's just like, God, of all places that you could have, give him a speaking engagement. Like, why would you give it here? Like, we already dealt with the cousin's church. That was the first engagement. The next engagement in Houston is this. I'm like, oh, dang. So, like, there, at that point, God probably hearing my conversations is probably like, you looking for a reason to go, that's your reason. Because like I just said, I'm there to serve my pastor. Like, I'm there to be a part of my community. I'm there to represent, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, this is your reason for going. So then that's when my pastor was like, hold on. Actually take a time, go pray about it, because God trying to do something. So I'm like, okay. So I had spent the week fasting again. And while I was fasting, I actually learned that fasting, not only does it like clear you, and all the things, but fasting is a form of mourning and lamenting. You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy. And I didn't think about that until like I was like driving home. But it was crazy because like the week before our church event, I'm gonna expose myself. The week before my church event, we were fasting as a church. But that week was also like that week was also the anniversary of my ex and his new partner, his wife, actually. Yeah. So it was like that anniversary week, and I was affected. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I was very much so affected. And so not even put the two and two together. Like, I was grieving that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was really grieving that. And out of that grief time came an invitation. Something always come out of my fast. Like, it don't matter what it is. When we did our daily fast, when I do my personal fast, like something comes out of it. And this came out was like an invitation. You know what I'm saying? And so, of course, I fast, the week going up to the Sunday that my pastor is going to speak. And I finally gave him like the okay, like I'm going. You know what I'm saying? He was so happy, he was so supportive or whatever. So I go. I asked a friend to go with me because I knew I wasn't gonna be no good. Like, I knew I wasn't gonna be no good. And the reason why I'm being very transparent, and it might not be the like best opinion, but it was the truth. The reason why I had to ask my pastor or just anybody if I should go, because I was struggling with like two different emotions. Like, the one emotion is like, I don't want to cause any problems for him. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't matter about what didn't work here. Like, I don't want to cause no strife or invade any space. Because mind you, I got blocked. Like, I got blocked like the week I was fasting, and I didn't understand because I don't talk to this person. You know what I'm saying? Like, at all. I don't follow this person. This person's actually following me. So I'm like, you could just unfollow. Like, you have to block me, but it is what it is. So I was already going through all that emotion. Like, damn, like they blocked me on the internet. Like, they not gonna want me in a real life space or whatever. And so I went to that, but it was like I also wanted to see him. Like, that's my dog. Like, compared to where we at right now, you know what I'm saying? And I'll get to more of that. Like, that's my homie. You know what I'm saying? That's my childhood friend. So like I was excited to see him, but also like I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the real truth. And you know, we all about truth and obedience here. That's the truth. And so, but I knew I was gonna be no good, right? So I throw up the morning of. I throw up, like, get it out. I was like, okay, I'm ready. And then I go, and immediately when I walk into church, God already got me on assignment. Like, and not say on assignment, he like really tested me as soon as I walk into church, because I walk in and my friend that's with me was like, hey, there go pastor right there. And I'm looking at where pastor, and I'm like, yeah, the wife is right behind him. So yeah, this is something. So like anxiety just ran through me. You know what I'm saying? Like real bad. Real bad. Um and I'm gonna say it's crazy. It's just crazy because like I've dealt with people like that have I've dated, I've cared for it, and then they get somebody else, and I've been around to somebody else and never have been like shooketh like I was in that church. Like, so like it was just a test of strength, and it just really showed where I was at, like emotionally, mentally, in these regards. And so I went through, I spoke to my pastor, the wife, the kids, I spoke to my church members, and then I had to go sit on the other side of church because I didn't want to cause no problems. Like, I know that my presence, our presence in each other's lives is very disruptive, and not in a bad way, but it has the ability to shake some things up. And I'm like, I'm not gonna shake nothing, I'm gonna just go over here, right? So I do all that. I'm freaking out. I'm not gonna lie. It looked regular because I was smiling the whole time, but I'm freaking out. Um, and literally playing like Jedi mind tricks to not look at this man. This man is on the stage, and I'm looking everywhere around. And it takes way more work to look away from something. Like, it takes more work to be angry at somebody than just like let them go. It takes a lot of work to like not look at somebody and they right there. You know what I'm saying? Then just look at them. So I was going through that. That was very disheartening for me. We didn't speak, which was very disheartening for me. Because like I said, somebody I cared for, somebody I grew up with, like somebody I did life with, and the fact that I couldn't even speak to them, like, catastrophic, right? So I had to do all that and do all that, and then, oh, on top of that, before the end, then we're matching, he and I. Like, I'm trying to dress down because my friend is like, be a baddie, like stud on him. And I'm like, no, because I'm no, even looking at this camera right now, like, I know, like, there is something really on me when it comes to like my walk with God, and God literally is with me. And if y'all know anything about the Bible, like, it talks about Moses and his radiance because he was literally like close to God, and when he came back down to the people, he had this glow. And that's just me and God. So I know I have this like natural glow. I don't wear makeup, you know what I'm saying? None of that. Throw a lash on, that's it. But I have this natural glow, so I'm not finna like, in so many words, throw on bronzer on top of the glow. Like, nah, like, so I'm gonna just dress down. And that didn't matter because God decided to go shopping in both of our closets and pull out these cream pants and this brown and tan shoe. I'm like, Lord, like, why are you doing this to me right now? Like, get us out each other's closet. Like, that's ridiculous. All that for the name of the sermon to be the breakup. Divorcing your past to marry your future. I wanted to walk out of the church right then and there. You know, I did, but I didn't, you know? Um, yeah, so that happened. And it caused me to go on like a little mini rant about on Instagram about like me me knowing, because I was able to survive that moment. And my pastors was like, we're so proud of you, like, whew, dang, I don't know why they're proud of you, like, really hit me. But we're so proud of you, and you really made a sacrifice by being here, because I know that was a lot for you. Like, and as much as the like showing up was a lot for me, like knowing where me and a really, really close friend, besides that being my partner, anything like that was my brand. Like me and a really, really close friend, um, not being able to speak to each other, it was like wow for me. Was really wild. And it was out of my character. You know what I'm saying? But the scripture that my pastor talked about was talking about Moses, and when they crossed the Red Sea, and something that I never kind of thought about, or probably never heard very clear, um, was how he talked about when they walked through the Red Sea, and he used my ex in that demonstration, was like crazy. When they parted the Red Sea and they walked through, when God closed the waters, he did not only close the waters to the enemy, he closed the waters to a lot of their family and friends. You know what I'm saying? They had been with the Egyptians for over what, X amount of hundreds of years. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't just people they were serving, it was people like they loved and they cherished. You know what I'm saying? And they just couldn't go with them. And so I took that like so hard. I took that so hard. I'm taking it hard. So I said to say it is what it is. And yeah. So I go on a tangent. I go on a tangent about like how I know God trusts me, because I was able to sit through that. And how as a people we gotta get better at applying the things we learn, all the knowledge we acquire, all the knowledge we digest, all the things we learn. Like, we got to do better at applying that stuff instead of just harboring it, because if you just harbor it, you're not getting the full out lesson. Like, one thing about this life that I know and I understand, like, this is a school of life. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the real life school of life. This ain't college, this ain't high school, this ain't middle school, this is the school of life. And one thing in college and middle school, if you don't do an assignment or you don't turn in something, they'll give you a zero, they'll give you an incomplete. God ain't gonna do that. If he give you an assignment and you don't do it, it's just gonna pend. It's just gonna pend until you do it. Until you test out of it, it's just gonna sit there and pend. So I could have not gone on Sunday when he told me to do. Guess what? He probably would have gave it to me again and again and again until I did it, until I faced it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like test out, bro. Don't just pass the class, test out. Because there's a whole nother level that you have to get to, and you can't get to that level without knowing that you did everything you were supposed to do at this level. Because I still had work to do. The fact that I didn't speak, like I said, people be like, "Oh, he should have spoke to you." I didn't give him room to speak, even if he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? And that was really out of my character, and that was very, that wasn't me. But at the same time, it was necessary in that moment, because I'm not even thinking about me when it came to that moment. I'm thinking about him. I'm thinking about my pastor's wife who serves with him. I'm thinking about all these people that are in between him and I. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, it just is what it is. I'm thinking about them. I'm not even thinking about me. You know what I'm saying? So, um, exposure therapy is real. And so that's just what that was for me. Like, it was real life exposure therapy. Like, God really showing me, taking me into the space and place that we have been working on. And not to say like that church specifically, but around the people that, the hurt and the trauma and the anger and all these things were, coming from. going to take you and place you around them and see how you react and what you've learned and things like that. That's exposure therapy. And then it also takes you not only to do that job well done, but it also shows you like what you need to work on. And like I said, I need to I how that went could have been better. But at the same time, that's just gonna take time. Granted, will that opportunity happen again? I don't know. Like I'm not walking my steps out. You know what I'm saying? Bible says the steps of a good man or good woman are ordered by the Lord. My steps are ordered. And as unorthodox as they were, as something that a lot of people couldn't have done, like I knew it was from the Lord. And I know he trusts me. And I know he think when I'm on the strong soldier list and I'll be like, sir, get me off that list. But I know I'm on that list. And so I just have to walk it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, people might not understand, but me and God, like, we understand. And that's how it even was, like, when it came to me asking, should I go? I'm asking, people I really trust, and things like that, if I should go, or people that understand my situation, if I should go. And they're saying no. But at the same time, when you hear clearly what God says, when you hear clearly what your dad said, everybody else is trying to look out for your best interests. They try to look out for, they really trying to look out for you. God is trying to strengthen you. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes, I'm so sorry. Sometimes God will put you in the most hottest, it just hit me, just hottest of furnaces so he can continue to purify you, bro. And that, I was cooking in the church. I was cooking in the church. You know what I'm saying? And he would just continue to purify me and strengthen my heart and strengthen my mind, because people can't do that. People really can't do that. I went home, told my mom, sorry. I went home and told my mom, and I hadn't told her like the whole time that I was planning on going. She knew I was going to church that morning. She didn't even know where. Like, so when I told her where I went and I told her what happened, and indulged further information that she hadn't known, for my mom, like, my mom ain't no punk, for one. She a little crybaby, but she ain't no punk. For her to realize and accept the fact, like, what I just did was a lot. And a lot of people can't do that. And a lot of people couldn't handle it. I didn't cry that day. My mom cried for me, because she was like, that was hard for you. That was a lot for you to have to endure. But God is using you. God told you to go and you listen. So God is pleased. God can trust you. God knows that any place and any space that you go in, no matter how uncomfortable it is, like, you gonna go because like, he told you to. It don't matter how you feel. What dad says, you do. And especially when you and dad don't have a bad track record. You know what I'm saying? Like, God ain't steered you wrong this far. So he ain't gonna steer you wrong. You just know where you at in life. You know what I'm saying? And know where you gotta grow and know what you gotta do. And like I said, from that, I got so many responses from people who felt that in their soul. Like, and had I not gone through that experience, had I not encountered that experience, like, I wouldn't have blessed other people. Even with that sermon, as much as I felt like that sermon was dragging me, y'all didn't see the uproar that was going on in the church. Y'all didn't see the various people that came to him and was like, sir, you blessed me. You know what I'm saying? And at one point, I didn't know how to feel about, like, dang, like, he really calling me out. But at the same time, I felt so honored that it felt like my brother, my big bro, was like really speaking up on my behalf about a situation that needed to, like, end or whatever, or needed to be cut, or needed to be burnt, or whatever it was. It needed whatever hellish demon that was in the mix and stirring up the pot of whatever was going on in that space, he was going to call it out, and he was going to call it out in front of everybody, but it was on my behalf. So I felt like honored. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody is fighting for me. Like I don't have to continue to fight by myself. And I haven't been fighting by myself. I've been doing like a real good job of like calling people and talking to people, because I hold a lot of stuff in. Like that's why I'm crying so much, because I hold it all in. I don't like being weak. I don't like being weak. Um but the craziest thing is people think I'm so strong, and it's like y'all don't see my strength. Y'all think it's me, but it's not me. It's actually God. Like when I'm weak, he's strong. You know what I'm saying? So I did not mean to cry, y'all. I was trying not to go there, but here we are. So I do all that, for me to go to work the next day, because the next day is Monday. For those who follow me, y'all know I got my little daily devotional that sit on my desk. I flipped to the 20th. Mind you, I ain't been to work since what, the 17th, something like that. Yeah, 17th. So it's on the 17th. I flipped to the 20th. Y'all know what the first line of that daily devotional was. I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to put it on the screen too. It says, I am pleased with you, my child. If that don't sound like God affirming and passing me through that test, of me hearing him very loud and clear, for him to tell me to go someplace that if it was in my own might, my own strength, I would have continued to fight. I would continue to be just like Moses and be like, but I don't think I'm qualified. It was just like, I don't want to go. Like, I don't want to put myself out there. Like, I don't want to go. I do not want to go. No, I don't think I should go. That was me forever. I don't want to go. 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 And it just got to the point where I was just like, I don't want to be disobedient. So I'm going to go. And I went. I felt in my spirit that God trusts me. And right then and there, I got that confirmation that God is pleased with me. And as long as God is pleased, I don't care about what nobody got to say. I don't even care about how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. Long as my Father in heaven, who sits high and looks low, is pleased with me, I'm all to good. And don't think I didn't have no trouble. That even right after that, my car didn't want to start. On some weird stuff, I changed the battery and the battery don't even read to my car no more. Like, it's wild. But I had to deal with that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm just like, okay, Lord, you done put me through this. Now I gotta deal with this. Like, but I didn't freak out. I just, hey, say a prayer for me. Say a prayer for the car. Like, say a prayer. Like, I'm not even reacting like I used to. I'm responding with like a hallelujah, basically. I responded with, I know you got it, Lord. Just continue to do it. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, that's where I've been at. Been dealing with some heavy stuff, that regular people, they can't do. You know what I'm saying? And people that really be like, God, you can have my life. They ain't really giving God their life. You know what I'm saying? Me? Baby, you can have this old raggedy bag of bones, because, like, if you can't have me, then who else? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. That's where we at, y'all. That's where I've been. I got a lot of work to do. You know what I'm saying? Um, Clearly, because I couldn't even get through half of this episode without crying, and that was not my intentions at all. Um, but showing up for God, showing up for myself, and showing up for you guys is all in the purpose, all in the cards. And yeah, I'm proud of myself for showing up for everybody. Thank you for all 40 followers. I don't know where y'all came from, but thank you. I greatly appreciate y'all. Or subscribers, I'm sorry. Thank you for all 40 subscribers. Thank y'all. Okay. Tell your friends come visit sometime. If they got time. Um, that's it for right now. Continue to follow me on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook too, if y'all can find me. Um, we almost celebrating a year, y'all. And my friend already on me like new year, new consistency. I just gotta step letting God like lay me out, but you know we're gonna get there slowly but surely. Um, but yeah, that's just I'm just letting y'all know where I'm at, and where I've been, and I just been living, learning, and letting God use me. So be careful when you say, God, you can have my heart, you can have my life, you can use me, because He gonna use you if He really see fit. So that's why I am, just being a vessel of God right now. So thank you guys. I love you guys. Until next time.